नाजरीन सामीन, आज इंटरनेट में कुछ गड़बड़ होने की वजह से थोड़ा सा प्रोग्राम कुछ डिले से शुरू हो रहा है। लेकिन हमारी कोशिश ये रहेगी कि आप तक हम वो तमाम बातें जो आज के मौजू के हवाले से हम समझते हैं कि आप तक पहुंचनी चाहिए, पहुंचाने की कोशिश करेंगे। तो सामीन नाजरीन, वुलर टेलीकास्ट की इस नशरियात में आपका मेज़बान जावेद इकबाल आपकी खिदमत में हाजिर है। आप तमाम ख़वातीन व हज़रात तक मेरा सलाम और आदाब पहुँचे। जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि दुनिया में अगर कोई मसला भी है, वो मसला सियासी हो, वो मसला समाजी हो, जो कोई भी मसाइल दुनिया में हैं, हर एक मसले का एक कॉमन पहलू जो सामने आता है, वो है नौजवान तबका, वो है यूथ। जब हम यूथ की बात करते हैं, तो यूथ से हम मुराद वो तमाम नौजवान, वो तमाम जवान जो पढ़े लिखे भी हैं या जो तालीम के ज़ेवर से किसी न किसी वजह से आरास्ता ना हुए, वो नौजवान और वो जवान भी यूथ के ज़िम्मे में आते हैं। तो दुनिया के तमाम मसाइल में एक कॉमन फैक्टर जो हमें नज़र आता है, वो है नौजवानों का इसमें शामिल होना और इसमें बढ़-चढ़ कर हिस्सा लेना। स 27 17 जुलाई 17th ऑफ जुलाई 2019 को यूनाइटेड किंगडम के परमानेंट रिप्रेजेंटेटिव इन यूएन उन्होंने तकरीर करते हुए ये बात कही कि दुनिया की निस्फ आबादी जो है, वो नौजवानों पे मुश्तमिल है। वो 30 साल से कम उम्र के लोगों पर मुश्तमिल है और हमें ये चाहिए कि उनके मसाइल को, उनकी सोच को, उनके एस्पिरेशंस को समझें, देखें, उन्हें जानने की कोशिश करें, ताकि दुनिया में जितने भी मसाइल हैं, उनका हल ढूँढा जा सके, ताकि वो नौजवान तबका उसमें अपना एक रोल अदा कर सके। और इस बात का और इन बातों का इज़हार जो है, वो यूनाइटेड नेशन में बरतानिया के परमानेंट रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ने 17 जुलाई 2019 को किया। आज के इस प्रोग्राम में इसी चीज़ को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए हमने उन नौजवानों को, उन जवानों को दावत दी है जिनका ताल्लुक़ कश्मीर से है। हमने किसी लीडर को, किसी सियासी जमात के किसी ऐसे फ़र्द को नहीं बुलाया है, बल्कि आम कश्मीरी जो हैं, आम से मेरी मुराद है कि वो लोग जो बिल्कुल कश्मीर की उस सरज़मीन से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं, आम से शहरी हैं, उनके साथ बात करेंगे कि उनके एस्पिरेशंस क्या हैं। जो आज का मौजू रहेगा, वो यही रहेगा कि एस्पिरेशंस ऑफ यूथ इन कश्मीर, फेलियर ऑफ फुलफिलमेंट। इस पे हम उनके साथ बात करेंगे। इस प्रोग्राम में मैंने दावत देना चाही थी यूथ सर्विसेज के जो डायरेक्टर जनरल हैं कश्मीर के, उनको मैंने इस प्रोग्राम में आने की दावत दी थी, लेकिन उन्होंने ये कहकर प्रोग्राम में शिरकत करने से इनकार कर दिया कि वो सिर्फ 19 साल की उम्र के लोगों तक खेल कूद के लिए जिम्मेदार हैं। जिस मौजू पे आप बात करना चाहते हैं, उसके लिए सेक्रेटरी यूथ सर्विसेज जो हैं, वो ज़्यादा मौजूद रहेंगे। तो ये कहकर उन्होंने इस प्रोग्राम में शिरकत करने से इनकार किया। मुझे ये बात समझ नहीं आती कि 19 साल के जवान भी यूथ में ही शामिल होते हैं। खैर, आज के इस प्रोग्राम में जो भी बात सामने आती है, मेरी ये कोशिश होगी कि अगर वो ये बातें जो भी सामने आएँगे हुकूमत वक़्त के ज़िम्मेदारों तक पहुँच जाएँ, वो इसमें क्या समझते हैं, क्या करना होगा, क्या नहीं करना होगा, ये हम उन पे छोड़ते हैं। तो आज के प्रोग्राम की तरफ आते हैं। मैं आपको अपने मेहमानों का तारुफ़ कराता चलूँ। सबसे पहले मेरे साथ जो हैं, वो कश्मीर से ताल्लुक़ रखने वाले एक नौजवान हैं, जिनका ताल्लुक़ है श्रीनगर से, कश्मीर से, वैली से, और ये हैं हम्माद खान साहब। मेरी दूसरी मेहमान जो हैं, जिनका ताल्लुक़ भी कश्मीर से ही है, और ये हैं सना असद साहिबा। और मेरे जो तीसरे मेहमान हैं, उनका ताल्लुक़ भी कश्मीर से है। ये हैं मिस बिनीश भट्ट साहिबा। और मेरे साथ कुछ मेहमान और हैं। एक मिनट मैं ज़रा देख लूँ, वो कहाँ चले गए? कौन है? ओह गॉश! ये आपकी एक मिनट। बिनीश के बाद कौन है हमारे साथ? आई कांट सी एनीवन हियर।
सर मी सबीना मीर।
सबीना है, सबीना मीर हैं।
कैन यू
और
कैन
यस, यस, सबीना मीर, सबीना
ओके
मीर साहिबा हैं। और हमारे साथ हैं, और कौन साहब हैं? इमरान साहब, एडवोकेट इमरान साहब, आप वहाँ पे हैं? जी नहीं। चलिए, सबसे पहले हम बात करते हैं सबीना से। सबीना, आप क्या
यस।
समझती हैं कि जो एस्पिरेशंस हैं यूथ की, इसको आप किस तरह से डिस्क्राइब करेंगे?
So first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me over here. And before we talk about the aspirations of the youth, I would like to, define what youth actually means.
यस।
Yeah, literally, by youth we mean those people who are young people, who are falling at the age group of 15 to 30. All
जी।
right. But if we talk metamorphically, it might, I may put it as in a different way. How?
हम्म।
Because like I may say that as a passionate or an aspirant, who wants to grow physically.
राइट।
Physically, obviously, there are youngsters who are more interested in sports nowadays.
जी।
So I may put it in physically. I mean, like some are interested in sports. Many they are cricket, football, anything. So I may say that some youngsters, they want to excel good in academics, like there are lots of competitive exams, and people are working very hard. There's a lot of competition among the people. Some want to be doctors, engineers, and some want to achieve something in administrative. Some want to go in administration department. Some want to qualify ISKS. So I can say that aspirant, who wants to excel good in academics. Or I may take it in I can see, like, some people, they are more interested in nowadays, they want to do good in business. Some youngsters, I can see many men and women, they are more interested in business. They have started their own. I can see girls, women, they do kind of business. Some may do at home business, online business, or anything. Or I can say, as an aspirant who wants to sprout intellectually. So I may put this, as I may put youth as in a different way. But since August 5, 2019,
राइट।
we can, yeah, we have seen ourselves. We have been put behind the bars. So definitely there was a different situation in Kashmir. Particularly if we are talking about the aspirations of the youth, so we are definitely talking about youth. So what I want to say is that, under Article 370, I don't want to be political. I don't have to discuss politics here, but it's reference to my topic. So definitely I'm going to discuss it. So what I
राइट।
actually want to say, yeah, what I actually want to say that after August 5, 2019, we have been put behind the bars. So definitely, it has affected us whole.
Right,
What
right, right, Sabina.
Yeah,
Yes, we will come to that, and
yeah,
we will talk about that how the
sure.
August 5th, after August 5th, how your
Yeah.
aspirations have changed, or
That has
what?
totally that has totally changed on the aspirations of the young youth, youngsters
Yeah,
among
we will
us.
talk. We will
Yeah,
talk about that, and we will.
sure.
I will ask you about that. But let me ask the same question to Khan Hamad. That how you would describe and how you would say that, in particular, the Kashmiri youth. What are their aspirations? When we talk about the aspirations, as Dr. Sabina has rightly pointed out, that there are different kinds of aspirations. It can be an aspiration in sports. It can be in the field of what we call this education or whatsoever. How you would describe it?
I would take an approach that would like exclude conflict in a sense. Not everything is about conflict. See,
Hmm.
for aspirations, there is something like a motivation. Why we
Hmm.
aspire to something. What do we
Hmm.
want to achieve? So
Hmm.
there is this, from what I have noticed in our society is becoming more and more job oriented.
Hmm.
So whatever we do, we have a job in mind. Like if we want to spread intellectually, that's like what kind of job
Hmm.
will it get me? If I study this, what will be my pay or something? I
Hmm.
think this type of thinking, if you see the topic, it is about failure. This
Hmm.
type of thinking leads to failure.
Right.
As when we see when we see that there are the jobs we need, particularly we need government jobs, not any kind of job. So
Hmm.
at some point we realize that there are not enough government jobs for everyone.
Hmm.
So the whole motivational structure breaks down. So when your motivation is gone, your aspiration is gone.
Hmm.
So you do eventually you want to be like an earning. You want to be earning something which you fail at
Right.
because there is not enough for everyone.
Right.
And other thing that ma'am discussed was about business. See,
Hmm.
where failure introduces itself in business is we don't have stable markets, be it
Hmm.
physical market or the markets available on internet. They are not
Hmm.
stable.
Hmm.
Everything is crashing upon everything else.
Hmm.
So I would see aspiration. Not everything is connected to conflict. There are some cultural elements in it. How we think about them, they are wrong.
Right, right. Okay, Mr. Hamad, you have raised a couple of very good points as far as the job opportunities are concerned, and you have raised this very important point that the youth's aspiration, particularly in Kashmir, are only to acquire the government jobs. We will talk about it, but let me have the input from Binish. Binish, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, Binish. What you will say about this thing, how you would describe that, what are the aspirations of Kashmiri youth, particularly at this time?
Well, taking an educational perspective, I would locate the failure of fulfillment in aspirations themselves.
Hmm.
The domain of thinking about things that we can do is very, very small.
Right.
See, what we are doing is we are classifying subjects, as Hamad said, based on money and prestige. We
Hmm.
have demonized the humanities. We have killed the study of art and culture and our history. Our
Right.
language is dead. These are some areas that are receiving zero attention.
Hmm.
And now comes the failure. When we have restricted this domain, too many students get jumbled into few areas, and the result
Hmm.
is obvious. So here you have the shrinking of creative grounds where aspirations
Hmm.
actually lie. Now, taking the institution of teaching into account, there's a common notion in our people that yusna kunelai so like private teacher, right?
Take.
Which means this one who is suited for nothing is well suited for teaching in private schools, right?
Hmm.
So even if some students try to stretch the creative ground, there's always a teacher with a stick to shush him, to back him existing mold. At the end, private teachers, they just create more private school teachers, right?
Hmm.
So here you have the crushing of creativity again. Further, families play an important role in shaping the aspirations and leading to their fulfillment.
Hmm.
Taking a general view, one would give that one would like everyone will definitely agree that our families lack the exposure to the outer world.
Hmm.
Taking an example, I have a friend whose family thinks that studying philosophy will drive him crazy. Like, this is the real condition. These kinds of things here, we have a family utilizing and normalizing their power in a negative way. They are
Hmm.
creating a submissive animal out of a creative human being.
Hmm.
Furthermore, taking a psychological perspective, there's a common aspiration in youth named martyrdom, we can say, which in simple terms is laying down your life.
Okay.
When this aspiration comes to your life, it kills every other possibility of your being. It
Hmm.
even kills being itself. So here you have a failure of the will to life itself, which is
Hmm.
common in youth. And at last, the surrounding environment, or in other words, the aura of chaos that surrounds you, a Kashmiri particularly at all times,
Hmm.
trying to study or do something or have a big dream about your life is just, absurd. When people all around you are dying, it's like trying to play a piano while your mother is dying.
Hmm.
This psychological restriction is always there, floating beneath the thought process of every Kashmiri.
Very important,
What?
Binish, very important point. The psychological trauma and the psychological things have caused a really an hurdle in fulfilling the dreams and aspirations of the youth. Let me come to Sana, and I will come back to you all, but let me come to Sana, Miss Sana Asad. Uh, what's your input about the same question, that how you will describe the aspirations of Kashmiri youth, particularly at this time? Sana.
Okay, sir. So when we talk about aspiration of any person, of Kashmiri youth or youth in general, what aspiration means is a hope or an ambition to achieve something. So
Mhm.
what is this that we are trying to achieve? As you know, being given the opportunity to represent Kashmiri youth here, what I aspire to become, or what I aspire to do, is I want to achieve economic or financial independence. So
Okay.
financial independence in Kashmiri context is a very important aspect. Why? There are many reasons. Because the the choices of economic, the financial condition of the people is,
Mhm.
you know आपके पास या तो डॉक्टर बनना है, या तो आपके पास
Mhm.
आपका इंजीनियर बनना है. The final,
Mhm.
because the private sector is dead, there is no it's a dead sector. We do not, the
Mhm.
private sector is not, the businesses are very very they're weak. First of all, there is no stability in private sector in Kashmir, for
Mhm.
reasons that we all know. So as Binish clearly pointed out, that there's only government jobs that we are after, and for good reasons. We all know that there is stability in government jobs. There will be a definite pension that we'll be receiving after. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to stabilize our families with the money that we get through the government jobs. So if a person who is interested in anything other than what is mainstream, doctor,
Mhm.
yeah, engineer, whatever, that is mainstream. If you aspire to become a doctor, very good, and you become a doctor, very well for you, and you're living your dream. But if
Mhm.
a person whose passion lies somewhere else, he or she is also forced to do what is mainstream, which creates
Mhm.
the jumbling that happens in the sectors, and also kills the passion and creativity that is otherwise prevalent, the talent that is prevalent in Kashmir. So there are very many writers, very good writers, very a lot of friends who are very good writers, but they're doing pharmacy, B pharmacy or MBBS, because that's
Mhm.
because they're going to they have to send money to their families. So
Right.
passion is killed because the financial aspect, which is very important, because we are not a rich place. We come from families that are mainly middle class.
Mhm.
Zyada se zyada will be upper middle class families, but we do not own businesses that will sustain our passions. So what we have to do is we have to find a job that gives us enough money to sustain the family at the cost of killing our passion and killing our dreams.
Right, Sana, you have raised some very important points, the passion and the economic side of it. And by saying this thing that we want to earn money, no matter what actually your passion is, what you want to be, but most of the time, your passion is totally overlooked or overlapped by the economic desires. How far it's right, let's take from Dr. Sabina. Dr. Sabina, let me ask you this thing, that what do you think, that what are the hurdles or what are the roadblocks that made any youth, you are thinking of, because you are from Kashmir, you are there, and you can have a very good insight of it. So, what are the hurdles, or what were the hurdles or the roadblocks that made or making a youth harder, as Sana said it, it makes harder for them to become what they really are or what they really want. So, what do you think about it?
So actually, I agree with Sana, but my point of view is totally different. I totally believe that the conditions in our Kashmir, the situation that is totally panic. Since August 5, 2000, I totally believe that things were very different.
Hmm.
It was a terrible, bothersome for all the people of Kashmir, and particularly the aspirations of the youth. Obviously, when we are see, this is pandemic. This time it's panic, but
Hmm.
this pandemic has been more panic to us because we have been under lockdown since August 5. We are not given that freedom. We Our aspirations are obviously lost. Our aspirations are reduced. I believe that Sana is right, but it's like the conditions in our Kashmir are totally different. After the scraple of Article 370, I don't want to be political over here, but since we know that everybody is after government job, definitely, because we
Hmm.
always see, yeah, there is a security, everybody wants a government job in Kashmir, definitely. But as Sana said, like, yeah, but private, see, I don't do a government job here, but I run a private clinic. So it's not like, I'm just looking forward for a government job only. But if you're getting a government job, it's definitely you are having a good security. But since under Article 370, it is like, we the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir, we the youngsters, we had that opportunity, we had the job guarantees. But since this cripple of the Article 370, it's like we are losing the aspirations of the young youth, even that is lost. Or
Hmm.
I can say, by the execution of the domicile law, wherein
Hmm.
the other citizens of India, they are given the opportunity to do job over here in Kashmir, whereas it's only for the permanent residents of Jammu and Kashmir. So I totally believe that due to this cripple of Articles 370, or the execution of the domicile law, the aspirations of the young youth is totally lost. I think it's a
But
terrible bothersome.
Sabina, let me ask you this question there, and because of the you're talking about that you have lost the job opportunities in the state of
Different,
Jammu and Kashmir, but
different.
it doesn't stop you to find the job elsewhere in other states of India.
Definitely, it
So,
doesn't stop you.
so
But
how come you are saying that this thing that your job opportunities are very
but
limited in
there are some
cash?
people who want, definitely, sir, there are some people who want to do job outside, J&K. But there are
Mhm.
some people who try to prefer, in J&K only, and they are happy with their small earnings, but they want to stay in their hometown. So it
Mhm.
depends upon the people. I am not interested in doing job, outside Jammu and Kashmir. I'm happy if I'm earning little amount, but I'm happy if I'm in my own place. So it depends upon the
But the
person.
thing is, once a person wants to earn a livelihood for himself or herself or for the family, it's not important and necessary that you should stick yourself to one place. You have to move as the other people are moving for getting the better livelihood.
Definitely.
So it I this is my question to all of you. So how the things have changed, as you said that you are thinking that the job opportunities are now limited
Yes.
in the state of Jammu and Kashmir because of the abolition of Article 370 or the lockdown after the 5th of August. But as others say, for an argument purpose, that world is yours. It's not necessary that we should go for the government job. You know, the sky is the limit, world is yours. So how you will not be in a position to explore those things and find good opportunities for achieving what you want to achieve? Are there any hurdles in that?
Yes, sir. The educational system is the hurdle.
Yes. Okay. Hamad, carry on. What's the hurdle in that?
I see it like this. When we go to school, they teach us that you have to work for a certain kind of job that is
Mhm.
already here. Like you say, the
Mhm.
world is here. They don't tell
Mhm.
us that the world is here for you. We are
Mhm.
prepared for certain things. Now, when those certain things are taken, we have nothing.
Mhm.
So here is a solution to it. We have to open up the school. Like we have
Mhm.
to tell the students that the world is there. Like there are
Mhm.
things beyond engineering and medicine. Like
Mhm.
I would agree with Sana on the point that one has to eat first, then indulge in passion.
Mhm.
But when we see, school, what they teach us, like what we see is engineering, medicine, and maybe languages. That's still not our own language, some foreign language like the one I'm speaking right now. Our
Mhm.
language is in crisis. Our our own literature is in crisis. We don't
Mhm.
see like a Kashmiri version, a Gani Kashmiri, modern Gani Kashmiri surrounding
Mhm.
around here. Like all the other things except these scientific fields, pseudo-scientific, not exactly scientific fields, except those fields, we see nothing in here that the
Mhm.
world wants. So if we could give our youth that kind of stuff, maybe then the world is there. Still, at the present level, the world is not here. Only engineering
Right.
and medicine.
So you are saying that our education system is responsible for the non-fulfillment of aspirations of the youth because you are just giving all your attention towards only becoming a doctor or becoming an engineer.
Yeah,
So I
most of the
yeah
humanity is in crisis.
yeah we have been joined by Muhammad Saqib. Are you there, Saqib?
Yes,
So,
Assalamu alaikum, guys.
uh,
I am
uh,
extremely sorry. I had to be in a function, so I was stuck in a very bad traffic jam. But
no
thankfully, I'm
problem.
here.
No problem.
Yes,
No problem. Yeah, we were talking about a couple of things before, but now the question have Mr. Hamad and Dr. Sabina. They raised a question, a very good question in a way that in Kashmir, in particular in Jammu and Kashmir, the education system doesn't provide you those opportunities where you can give a what we call a vent to your aspirations and could achieve them. Do you agree?
I completely agree with them because if I talk about my personal interest or how I have not been living in the valley from the past 8 to 9 years now. I am an engineer by profession. I work in IBM. So I have been in a private firm for about 4 to 5 years now. So
Mhm.
what I basically feel is we Kashmiris have ample amount of knowledge and we are so good at basics and we have so much of talent. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, because it has all the political and apolitical values to it as well, which do not let us go ahead and do the needful. Because as I have seen many parts of the students who belong to different states of India as well. Uh, I don't find any differentiation, but rather in turn, what I would say is, I find we Kashmiris as most, respectable in a manner, and we are many much understandable in a way. And we, when it comes to knowledge and your basics things and how you can cope up with all kind of environments and all, so I think we do not lack the knowledge. It's actually the
Mhm.
platform which is lacking. So when
Mhm.
it comes to me, I would give you my example. I didn't get an opportunity to study here, so I went abroad, and sorry, not abroad, inside Indian states itself. And uh, to be very honest with you, I miss Kashmir, and I want to come
Mhm.
back home. But
That's what I say.
unfortunately, I can't. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, yes, I can't. To be very honest with you, I have been working from home since past 3 4 months due to
Mhm.
this pandemic, and I had to go round and round to BSNL offices because I had to go for a broadband connection because we are required to work on laptops, so we have to go ahead and have a very strong internet connection, right?
Yeah.
So
Right,
for 1 month, it was yeah.
Sakib, it's a very important question you have raised there, and I'm sorry to interrupt you there. And anybody
That's
can answer. Whosoever wants to answer it, just raise your finger, and I will. You raised the question of internet. Do you think that in this modern age of technology and the digital age, uh, it has an impact for fulfilling your aspirations? And if it has a impact on it, what kind of impact is that? Can you put some light on that? Either anyone. It's an open question to any one of you.
Okay, let me continue. Others can join me as well.
Yeah.
First of all, the basic thing is we are still under 2G. We are still working on
Yes.
2G. How will a student, like, even the board, even the blackboard is not clear to the students? How will they be able to read the letters? So
Okay.
it's complete and utter nonsense. I don't want to go to the political side of it, but what I
Okay.
mean is, uh, even if you are telling us to do online classes, even if the exams have to be online, not offline,
Mhm.
at least give us those. What do you call as? Give us a good internet. If you can't provide us a good internet, how are you supposed? How are you expecting things from us? So
Okay.
it's a complete havoc here. To be very honest with you, and it's actually you are just destroying the future of the youth.
Mhm.
So others can continue. So I mean,
Right.
because less said about is better.
Okay. Sana Asad, are you
Yes,
there?
sir. Yes, sir, I'm here. Sir,
So,
I would like to answer your former question first, which was
okay.
uh, that the world is ours. So if we
Okay.
can't work in Kashmir, we can always work outside.
Mhm.
True, I completely agree with your words, but that work when we are working away from home, that work doing any kind of private job outside Kashmir is
Mhm.
that money that we gain, even if it sometimes more than what jobs provide in Kashmir, it comes at a cost of being away from the family. And
Mhm.
I think one can afford that thing while they are in their study period. For example, I did my masters outside Kashmir, but knew that the period was limited. It was 2 years. Somebody,
Mhm.
people go to Bangladesh to study MBBS, but the period is
Mhm.
always limited. That it has to, there is an end to it. But
Mhm.
working even for a year outside Kashmir, I think people who work outside miss home more than people who study outside, because there is
Mhm.
no there's no end point. You never know how long you are going to have to continue this, because you have to send money, you have to sustain a family. So
Okay.
working outside is always difficult than studying outside. Second
Okay.
Uh,
point, that yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
please, please continue.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the second point that you raised is that ठीक है, we can go and do our jobs. We have completed our degrees. We'll go outside Kashmir and work, even though the schools at home are closed. But since the
Mhm.
schools at home are closed, so the next generation that is coming, they have to face, after a few years, they have to face a competition with the people over here in India, for example.
Mhm.
There are national competitions. There are JKCET, for example, taking a very mainstream exam into consideration. There is no JKCET anymore. There is a national level of examination. There is NEET, there is NET. So all these national exams, a Kashmiri person who spends, my cousin tells me that she went to school on August 3, 2019. So that has been
Mhm.
more than a year. 1.5 साल से बच्चे स्कूल नहीं गए हैं, and after 5 years, 6 years, she has to compete with the people who are from CBSE schools or even NCRT backgrounds, but at least they've been to school. So that's
Mhm.
a very it's a very difficult situation. We can't just say that we can work outside. People,
Okay.
the students, they have to study as well to compete with the people in India elsewhere.
Hmm. Right, Sana, very good points. Definitely, we will talk about that as well. We were having, I think we lost Binish there. Binish, are you there? Hello? Binish, can you hear me somewhere? No. Okay, Binish, if you can join us again, please do come. So, Hamad, you raised your hand and you wanted to contribute something about the same question. And go ahead, you have got 2 minutes.
Yes, I was thinking about the internet. It does have an impact, but still, as Mr. Sagib said it, when it works,
Mhm.
it does have an impact. Like I study
Mhm.
most of my things from the internet. Like I don't have books, I download them from the internet. But it
Mhm.
takes time, and you have to have speed on your internet. Like on 2G,
Right.
it will take 2 days to download a 6 MB book. You can't get it.
Mhm.
And the second point is there is a difference between us and the other Indian students. That is,
Right.
if you see a national level paper, there are two
Okay.
languages in it. There is an English language and there is a Hindi language. That is their mother
Okay.
tongue, not ours.
Okay.
Our mother tongue,
Okay.
we don't even study it. We can't even write in it. So
Okay.
we can't think in our mother tongue. That is a
Mhm.
catastrophe. We have to think in someone else's language, like
Mhm.
some European language or even in Hindi language. Like now they
Right.
have removed Urdu from the syllabus. Now that's gone
Mhm.
too. Now what is main is an English language that isn't ours, and Urdu that's
Mhm.
new, and Kashmiri that we do can't write.
Mhm.
So
So,
what
so,
will we
so
do?
you're saying that language plays an important role for
Language is
fulfillment.
thinking. I
Uh,
don't see a difference between language and thinking. That's why I'm emphasizing the role of language. Our language is dying.
okay. Okay. So you are saying that's what I would like to put it like that, that you are saying that the language itself is very important for
That
your aspirations as a youth to fulfill your aspirations. Am I right? Do you want to say
yes,
that?
I will
All
give you an
right.
example. If like
Mm-hmm.
we teach someone, a kid or something,
Mm-hmm.
you have to translate. Like it is in
Mm-hmm.
English, you have to give it in to him in Kashmiri. Now imagine if
Mm-hmm.
it was in Kashmiri,
Mm-hmm.
eh, he wouldn't be even need a mediator. You wouldn't have to be there. Like the
Right.
internet problem would be solved. Everything would be much easier if just our language was at work.
Okay. That's fantastic, Hamad. I will come back to you. Let me see. I think Jalees has joined us. Jalees, can you hear us?
Yeah, am I audible? I had some
Yeah.
internet issues, so sorry about that.
Yeah. No, it's all right. So, are you okay now? Have you been hearing and have you been watching us or not?
Unfortunately, not. I just joined just now. You can understand how I had to travel 12 miles to be on an internet connection, but
Oh
even that
gosh,
was
yeah.
even that did not suffice. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all right. It's all right. So, Janice, let me come to you. We were talking about different issues here. But let me ask you to come back to the first question. How you will describe, because you had missed almost now 45 minutes we are on the program and you have missed all this. But let me ask you this thing that how you would describe the youth aspirations.
Um, if we look at the society,
Mm,
the first thing that comes into the mind when we talk about youth is that they want to make sense of their lives.
mm,
When they see things happening around them, then they want to do something to alleviate the pain, right, of
mm,
different kinds, whether it's their personal pain or collective pain of a nation. So
mm,
being a writer, I can speak for writers out there,
mm,
and all the artists. So what happens,
mm,
when there is a blackout of a certain kind, whether it's a mental blackout or any other kind of blackout, what happens? People, there is a predisposition found in youth, a
mm,
predisposition towards the arts and literature. So this
mm,
has been, what I have analyzed in Kashmir, especially, that the
mm,
youth are, there is a predisposition of the youth towards the arts and literature. So what
mm,
happens, um, now, because they are predisposed towards the arts, they want to, refine this skill. What happens when they are diverted towards the arts? So this has been found in Kashmir, especially, that many youth are, becoming writers, artists, because this
mm,
is this is what we are predisposed towards. We want to create
mm,
something when
mm,
we are in a blackout or a lockdown of a kind, which
mm,
has been there since, the situations which arose after August 5, 2019. People have been, so to avoid claustrophobia, they just divert towards, there is a predisposition towards the arts and literature. But what
mm,
happens, there are not enough avenues to refine that art and literature which they create. If we
mm,
see in terms of quantity, there are self-publishing companies, for instance, because I said I can speak as a writer, right? So
mm,
the aspirations of youth in terms of art and literature.
mm,
So there are self-publishing companies which offer publication, right? So in terms of quantity, we can see that there are avenues for youth, but not in
mm,
terms of quality. For instance, there are no creative writing schools in Kashmir, or there are no,
mm,
fine art schools where they
mm,
could learn about, fine arts or literary arts. So this is the
mm,
failure of fulfillment. On one hand, there are aspirations of youth towards the art and literature, but at the same time, there is failure of fulfillment because there are not those institutions which they can look up to,
mm.
for fulfillment, not in terms of quality. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Jalis, very good point. Jalis has been talking about the different aspects of the fields where youth could flourish. They don't have those kind of facilities in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which other states have for their youth. So Janice raised some very important points. Now, there are some, we are talking about the education, we are talking about that people want to be doctors, people want to be engineers, but we have not talked about those people who are not educated. When I say who are not educated, it means that we have not gone to the school, who have not been able to get any kind of a degree or something like that, but still they are youth. You might have seen youth in your vicinities, or for that purpose, go to the Srinagar in Lal Chowk and you will see the youth selling things, being taxi drivers, auto drivers, something like that, and but they have got the aspirations as well. Do you think that we have ignored them as well? We are not talking about those aspirations. Yes, Dr. Sabina.
So that's what I want to say, that I've already discussed. That I totally
Hmm.
believe the conditions, the situation in Kashmir, it's entirely different. It's different since August 5. So about those people, they have not studied. They survive on vendors, the fruit
Hmm.
sellers, the shopkeepers. It's
Hmm.
totally, yeah, since August 5 their situation has been terribly bothersome. The
Hmm.
drivers, that's definitely it's upon the situation of the Jammu and Kashmir, that's
What was
totally
what was
affect.
the what was the situation of these people before August 5? Do you think that it is only August 5th that they have changed or has an
because
impact
of
on?
the because of the strikes, which normally, after August 5 we were
Hmm.
put behind the bars for so long. And it
Hmm.
has definitely affected the small businesses as well, obviously the
Hmm.
education system, definitely. And in this pandemic, as you talk about this internet, we are still
Hmm.
using 2G, the other countries are using 5G. And
Right.
it
Yeah.
has a great impact. It has
Uh,
definitely affected our education system mostly, and business. So the situation, definitely the situation of Jammu and Kashmir is entirely, bothersome. It's terribly bothersome. I totally blame upon the situation here. We are that's the I feel, we are losing the aspirations because of
right.
the conditions.
Okay. Let me come to Saqib again. Saqib, you heard Dr. Sabina saying this thing that after 5th of August, the youth of Kashmir have lost their aspirations. So, how you would like to overcome these hurdles? What you think that we can overcome these hurdles? Yes,
Um,
Saqib.
to be very honest with you, we are the children of conflict, and
Hmm.
unless and until the Kashmir issue is resolved, uh,
Hmm.
we are in the middle of nowhere. We are in a no man's land. And
Hmm.
but if you talk about like how we are going to overcome it, it will not be a complete outcome of it, but what we can do is we can learn about other alternatives, or we can go for other alternatives. Like for example, we have like I have been in Bangalore since 8 years now, and there are some 250 colleges alone,
Right.
and that's for
Right.
engineering colleges in Bangalore. And in
Hmm.
Kashmir we have like 5 or 6, or maybe
Hmm.
even less. So
Okay.
we will have to look out for other opportunities, as our Prophet Sallallahu also has said. Even if we have to go to attain our studies, we have to go to a different nation as well. So I believe unless and until the Kashmir dispute isn't resolved, it's still going to be the same, because we will still be dreamers. We will be still the dreamers of the land. But again,
Hmm.
we are people of conflict. We are in a war zone. I don't want to go to a political side of it completely. I understand, but unless and until it's resolved, we have to think of alternatives. Like I went away from Kashmir. I had been in outside India, sorry, outside Kashmir for almost 9 years now, and I miss Kashmir. And talking about aspirations and opportunities, I wanted to go for a government job, but you know about how the post system works here. Even if there are posts coming up for engineers or any other field of study, they will just postpone the exam for like 2 3 years, and then the
Right.
person has to wait and wait, and the cycle goes on. So
Right.
so
Okay.
um, so
Okay. Okay. Yes, I got your point, Saqib. Let me bring in Sana here. Sana, you heard Saqib saying this thing that we have to look for other alternatives. What do you think? What those alternatives could be?
Sir, I've seen people in the discussion pointing to the fact that we are the people of conflict. That is
Hmm.
very true, and if the solution is sought sooner, it'll be better. But as long as the problem exists, as long as it is there, we can't just stop living. We have to live.
Hmm.
We have to, and I've been emphasizing on the fact that every aspiration, especially when we talk about the aspirations of youth, and then going
Hmm.
more specific, talking about the aspirations of Kashmiri youth, finance and the economy comes it's a very important factor of everything that we talk about here when we talk about aspirations. So a very important point that you raised is the aspirations of the people who are basically not educated. So and you also talked about the post August situation and people losing their aspirations. I don't think we really lose aspirations aren't lost. Maybe they change, maybe our focus changes. Probably we were seeking some other things pre August 5 happen, whatever happened, but now what we aspire, not on the political front, on the youth front, as we are talking, the things change, the things that we seek change. So we also have to, sort of mend our minds and, look for directions where we can alternatively, as Saqib said, find the things that we basically aspire for. So what people, youth in general, whether they are employed, unemployed, Kashmiri, non-Kashmiri, seek is mental stability.
Right.
What mental stability, and someone also said that we aspire to make sense of ourselves. So that is the thing that I think we seek, and one must seek that whatever way, whatever we, and what the government or what the scenario needs to be is that we need to have avenues. Rightly, I think Jali said that we lack the avenues where we can basically fulfill those desires and those dreams.
Right. Okay. Sana, I got your point, and let's move a little bit forward. Sana totally, not totally, but to some extent, differed with Saqib saying this thing that it's not necessary that the conflict should be resolved, then the aspirations will be fulfilled, but we have to go for that. Let's leave the politics to the politicians and let's talk about something that my question goes to Hamad. Hamad, what do you think that in coming 2 to 3 years, what you would like to see in Kashmir that it should bring some kind of fulfillment to the aspirations of youth? What do you think within the coming 2 3 years? What you would like to be see there, and how? So these are two questions, and how you can play a role in that.
What I would like to see is that is already happening. I am personally experiencing it. It would be like studying our culture and the Kashmiri mindset, how it works, how this conflict has affected it, and how what change what changes are coming out of it into the society. How
Mhm.
how we are shaped by the conflict that surrounds us. That's my personal view about what I want to see in myself. I am a
Mhm.
student of mathematics.
Mhm.
I am not loosely connected to cultural studies, but I am
So
taking
you
an
are
interest
so
in
you
it.
believe so you believe 2 plus 2 makes 4.
Not anymore.
All right then. Okay, so yeah, I got your point. Dr. Sabina, what do you
Yes.
think? What do you think that what role you can play? As I said, leave politics to the politicians. But as far as the aspirations of the youth are concerned, what do you think that how they could be fulfilled and what role you can play?
I guess the mindset of the youngsters, it depends upon themselves, their parents, the schools, the teachers. Like they have to change it. It's not like we are, we are totally dependent upon the government jobs. We have to see ourselves like, we can start our own private business, or we can excel good in academics. There's a lot of serious competition among the youngsters. I mean, we can achieve many things. We should, I mean, we should do it should be our potential, and parents should be very supportive, the teachers should be very supportive. If I am aspired to become something, there should be support from the family. That's very important. That's what I believe in. Family should be totally very supportive. In some cases, it's like you're indulged, you're forced by your parents, to become a doctor, to become an engineer. It's I have seen in many cases, you just have to. Even me also, uh, I maybe, when I see myself in future, I may, force my children to become this and that. But I think, it's like, there should be it should be their aims, their aspirations, what they want to become. Let we people, let we parents give them that freedom to become what they actually want to be. It's not like we see future in only in medicine, we see future only in engineers and scholars. Let them be, nowadays we can see, people, youngsters are more interested in sports,
Right.
as we can see, one of the sports person, he has played for IPL, Samad. And it's really appreciating, and it's like, other people get inspired by this. I believe that the teachers, the school, I mean, the teachers, most important is that the parents should play a very important role. They should not stress their children what they aspire to become or what they want to become. I think a family should be very supportive in, whatever
Right,
their children want to be.
right. Dr. Sabina, you have raised some very important issues, and as far as the family is concerned, and teachers and other institutions, you have rightly said that they should be supportive, and we should not stick to only becoming a doctor or becoming an engineer, but we should explore the other things as well. Now, Janice, are you there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, Janice. Let me ask you this question, and it's not only the family, it's not only the teachers, it's not only the institutions who frame a youth or who play a role in fulfilling the aspirations and the dreams of youth.
Yeah.
There are lots and lots of people, lots of institutions, lots of things around the youth which
Around the
play a
youth.
role to make its aspirations and achievements to come true. Now, Janice, let me ask you this thing. If we will give you a chance to devise some programs for the welfare of youth, what you will do?
Okay. This is a very interesting question, and I would like to answer this by taking a reference point, the glorious past of Kashmir, which was 2,500 years ago. It was called the Golden Century of Kashmir. So many of you may not be knowing this, but Kashmir used to be the hub of education 2,500 years ago. It was the time when Srivara, just like Plato had set up an academy in Greece. In Kashmir also there was an academy set up by Srivara. So this Srivara, he was a historian, a philosopher, a writer, academician. So so this was a time, when he had set up an academy, and then people would visit this academy, but they would not get, there was specialized education for the youth of Kashmir 2,500 years ago. So, if I have to define progression, what is progression? Most people say that progression is a leap into the future, right? When we leap into the future, that is progression. But for me, progression for Kashmir will be the leap into the past, right? Because the
Okay.
past, because the past was a glorious one, and we have forgotten that glorious past when this was an academy, and when people from Europe, Central Asia would come to Kashmir to receive education. So I think that is my wish for Kashmir, to set up such, to trace retrace its roots, what we were.
Okay.
We were the, people would look up to us all over the world. Even if we talk about being a writer, when I talk about literature, so starting from Lalalded and then how it went on, it's unparalleled in the history of the world. The literature of Kashmir. So we should
That
know our roots, and that is what we should retrace our roots, and that is how uh, That will be the progression for Kashmir. Not
So
that
Jalees,
yeah.
yeah. So Jalees, if I am not wrong, so the first program you will do to introduce or to take Kashmir to its past and will tell the world that what Kashmir really was, and that will be one of your programs. Let me ask Hamad, what can be the other step you would like to take?
I would change the school syllabuses. Those are
Okay.
like not worth anything. They are out of touch of reality. You don't learn anything from them.
All right. So you would try to change the syllabuses of schools, colleges,
And language.
universities. All right. And so it means that you will try to introduce the new things and new trends in education, and you will not like to stick to the old trends. Uh, is that what you want to say?
Yes, precisely.
That's great. That's great. Let me talk to Sana. What you would like to do? Sana, are you there? Sana, you have
Yes,
muted your
muted.
mic.
Okay, hello, hello.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay, sorry, sir. Hello.
Uh,
Yeah. So, sir, what happens is, I would like to present a
mm,
scenario. So, what happens with the youth, the
mm,
unemployed youth that are educated or
mm,
uneducated, especially the educated
mm,
unemployed youth. So, whenever I see people doing their 12th and or bachelors and then not finding any mainstream
mm,
job, so what do they opt for? What do they go
mm,
for? There has been this recent upsurge in art, music, and writing. So,
mm.
what does that show? That obviously depicts the rich background that we come from, the very creative background that Kashmir basically comes from. We are very people from Kashmir have really fertile minds. They have creative minds. They can write. They can play guitars, and they can, there is a classical Kashmiri music tradition that we come from. So I think people, when they do not find unemployment, what their cathartic process is that they turn to art. They turn to art as in music, writing. So what I would like to do, if given an opportunity to establish some sort of platform for Kashmiri youth, is that I would basically like to provide some avenues or platforms for them to express and also give some monetary benefits for those kind of things.
All right.
If there's, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, okay, okay. So you would like to establish a platform which would give some kind of monetary benefits to the youth. Am I right?
Right, sir.
All right then. Let me ask Dr. Sabina. You are a dentist, doctor, and
Yes.
what do you think that what you will think what you can do,
I
Dr.
think,
Sabina? Yeah.
yes. I think I totally believe that there are lots of people at the administrative level. I believe that they should consider the psychological waves of the young people and take some positive steps. I
Mhm.
think because as I said, because of the conditions here in Kashmir, that's entirely different, and that has worsened the situation.
Mhm.
So my point is that the more the passion and the aspirations is being suppressed, definitely the more rebellion is expected.
Mhm.
In See, I cannot change, but I believe that uh, the there should be some positive outcome, because at the administration level, they should see the psychological dimensions. They should take that psychological dimensions in view, and we should what really is that it's I definitely believe that it's the passion that is being suppressed by these situations,
Right.
which is,
So,
yeah,
okay. So you are saying that the administration, or in other words, what we say,
definitely.
the government there should talk to the youth of Kashmir.
Because so at the end, everybody wants to earn. We
Yeah.
study, finally we need money for our livelihood,
Right.
right?
Okay. So
At the end,
you
everybody wants, yeah.
so you are saying that the administration in the state
like you
should,
talked about, a world is there, but it
yeah,
depends upon the people. I don't want to go abroad because I'll miss my family, I'll miss my home. I want to
right,
work over here. So I
right.
mean, we should get those opportunities, we should have those opportunities, so that we work here, we earn. But being, Kashmiri, we are lacking those things, we
Right.
have
Okay. Got
those,
your.
yeah.
Yeah. I
That
got your point. So let me say like this: that what you want to say is that the administration, or in other words, the government of J&K and the government of India, should connect with the youth
the
of
government of
Kashmir.
India is totally a failure in this situation, I believe
Right.
that.
Okay. So
That
they.
has
Okay.
already spoken, about the job opportunities and this
Okay,
education
okay, okay,
facilities.
but you would like to connect the government of Jammu and Kashmir, the administration, with the youth of Kashmir in order to explore the opportunities and provide them those opportunities so that they can fulfill their aspirations. Let me come to
we
Saqib. Saqib, what do you want to say?
I completely agree with Sabina because I have been saying all along from the start of this discussion, we lack the platform
Hmm.
and that self belief and confidence in us. So, unless and until we don't have it, I would like to take that initiative one day, or maybe I have been even doing it for
Hmm.
a longer period of time, but maybe on a small basis. But yeah, people of Kashmir, the youth of Kashmir, they lack the self belief and the confidence that they can do better because we people can do wonders, but we don't get that platform. Give us the
truly
platform, give us the opportunities, and you are going to see us shine. But unfortunately, that platform is still not here. We don't have the basic talk about the basic necessities. We don't have even those. And if you are talking about the advanced technology and all that stuff, we are way behind, like 10, 15 years, whatever we are studying right now. So yeah, that has to be on the same page as well. And the most important point is we don't have the platform to explore and to kind of we are confined to a
That's
certain place.
that's right, Saqib. You have made your point by saying this thing that Kashmiri youth needs to be given a platform so that while from they can express themselves and they can contribute towards the society and towards their well-being. So uh, there is yes, Hamad. I will come back to you, but
Yes,
let me ask Jalis first of all what he thinks that what he should be doing, that if he is given a chance, how he could play a role. Yes,
Um,
Jalis.
so as I was saying about the glorious past of Kashmir, so if we look at history, I usually look at history for solutions, right? So if we talk about John Jack Rousseau, for instance, so
Hmm.
John Jack Rousseau wrote the Social Contract. Uh, so the Social Contract begins with the line that man is born free, yet everywhere
Hmm.
he is in chains.
Hmm.
So when he wrote the book, his agenda was to bring about a social order in France,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
was under the rule of Louis Philippe at that time, the last monarch, who was
Okay.
eventually overthrown, right?
Right.
So initially he was not able to bring about a change, right? But
Hmm.
it won't be an overstatement to say that this one line, man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains, this became the reason that there were revolutions throughout Europe because of this
Okay.
one line. So,
Hmm.
I am a writer and all I can do is write. I
Hmm.
usually ask this question to people that what do you think is the heaviest thing in the world? And some
Hmm.
people tell me black hole, and some people, according to their subjects. But
Right.
I say that the heaviest thing in the world is the pen, because when you
Hmm.
pick up a pen in your hand, you pick up a history of 4,000 years along with it, and you
Right.
have to give something to the world which has not been given in these 4,000 years. So that is
Hmm.
what I can do, if I were to give given a chance through my poetry and whatever, that, because that is what I can do, is I want to bring about a social order, maybe from a
Right.
humble beginning, but eventually that would be my agenda. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So Jalis has expressed himself that he would use his pen and will highlight all those issues and will tell the world that what great people the people of Kashmir were and are. Yes, Hamad, you
I
were
would like to
raising
tell
your hand.
Ganesh that I agree with him, but I disagree with Dr. Sabina Mir because,
Mm-hmm.
like, your optimism in government is misplaced. There is no government.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see it?
Right. Okay. So disagreements are always there, agreements are always there. We are coming towards the end of our show. But before I will say goodbye to all of you, I would like to ask you only one question, and I would like to have your answer only in one very short way, short answer, not a long answer. Now, if you would like to see Kashmir as a better and best place, what will be the only one thing you will do, Dr. Sabina?
So, if I want to see Kashmir a better place,
Yes,
uh,
what you will do? What
what will
you will do?
mm, Kashmir is a
Okay,
better? I would. I wish I could see. Without this, there should be no conflict. That's what I want to see.
so you want to see
Yeah.
Kashmir without conflict.
Yes,
Okay,
definitely
great,
better.
great. Hamad, what you would
Yes,
like to see? One thing,
I would see our language reborn. I like
your
our
language.
languages.
So you would like to work on your language. Jalis,
Yes,
As I said, a retrace into the past. A retrace into the past.
retrace
Can
into
I
the
give
past.
just one example? If you will allow me, I'll just give one small example.
If it's
If
not
you
very long, yes.
just a
Go ahead.
small example.
Go
So
ahead.
I'll talk about Habba Khatun. You know, Habba Khatun was the first poetess of Kashmir, the first
Yeah.
resistant poetess of Kashmir. So
Mhm.
she had a choice. She could either choose violence or the
Mhm.
wise. So she chose
Okay.
wise over the violence. So that is what is remembered now. The violence is always more. The wise is more powerful than violence always. Yeah,
Great. So you would like to see the voice of the people to be heard,
yeah.
and you will play your role, not the violence. Lastly, it is Saqib.
Again,
Saqib,
sir,
can you hear me?
unless and until it's not resolved, the issue of Kashmir, we will have to always look for alternatives. Otherwise, there
Okay.
is no.
Okay. Okay. So you are saying that the conflict should be resolved, and I was thinking that Sana, the last question. Did you hear the last question? Because
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
yeah,
was. I
okay.
was listening.
Very briefly, what would you like to do?
I think, sir, given the context that we are speaking in, it would be certain kind of reformation in the educational system that there is, and on a larger and a better context, it will be better political stability that
All
would
right. All
basically.
right. All right. Thanks very much. Sana wants to do some changes in the education system of the Kashmir, J&K state. I thank all of you. This was a very good discussion. Lots of things were not in my mind, and I have learned a lot from my youth of today. And I hope that if this discussion has created something for the people who are at the helm of affairs in Jammu and Kashmir, if they listen to this, I think they should connect to the youth. I thank all of you, Hamad, Sabina, Sana, and Jalis and Saqib. And we lost a couple of participants. Advocate Imran, thanks to you if you are still watching us. आप सब लोगों का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आप तशरीफ ले आए,
Thank you.
और इंशाल्लाह
thank you,
आइंदा के
thank you.
किसी भी प्रोग्राम में मैं आपको दावत दे दूंगा, और उस वक्त हम किसी और मसले पे बात कर लेंगे। तो वलर टेलीकास्ट के सामीन और नाजरीन, आज हमने रियासत जम्मू कश्मीर से उन नौजवानों को दावत दी थी जिनके बारे में हमेशा ये कहा जाता है कि ये पत्थर उठाना जानते हैं और कुछ नहीं, लेकिन उन्होंने आज साबित करके दे दिया है कि उनकी एस्पिरेशंस, उनकी उम्मीदें क्या हैं, और उनको किस तरह से पूरा किया जा सकता है। जाते जाते आपसे ये कहता चलूं कि दुनिया का कोई भी कोना ऐसा नहीं है دنیا کا کوئی بھی ملک ایسا نہیں ہے جہاں پر یوتھ کسی نہ کسی طریقے سے کسی نہ کسی مسئلے کو آگے لے جانے کے لیے پیش ہے. کشمیر کے یوتھ بھی، آپ نے سنا، آپ نے دیکھا کہ وہ بھی اس قسم کی شانتی، اس قسم کا امن، اس قسم کی ایک ایسی فضا چاہتے ہیں جو ان کے لیے تمام روزگار کے مواقع فراہم کرے. آپ تمام حضرات کا ایک بار پھر شکریہ، اور سامعین اپنی دعاؤں میں مجھے بھی یاد رکھیے گا. انشاءاللہ آگے کے پروگرام میں آپ کے ساتھ پھر حاضر رہوں گا. تب تک کے لیے اجازت دے دیجیے. اللہ آپ کا اور ہمارا ہم سب کا حامی و ناصر ہو. اللہ حافظ.